Okay, so in this video, I'm going to explain you how to use .NET Client Library for Alice Blue REST API version 2. As you already know, the old API, the Alice Blue is going to retire that by 15th of September. So if you are using the old APIs, they will stop working after 15th of September. So that's their current plan. But it's not sure if these dates will be extended further or not. So far, there is no information from LSBLE on this. But meanwhile, most of the clients have started migrating to the new REST API version 2, and so I've also started migrating my own code to use the new API. Okay, so why I created this library? So the first reason is the old APIs are retiring on 15th of September. So anyways, I have to find a new library or create my own. So there is no .NET SDK provided by Alice Blue. I have seen all their repositories, their documentation. Nowhere they have mentioned any .NET SDK. There is a one Telegram channel there where they post updates on the latest development in the API, or any issues that's happening in that API. So they have created a one repository, but there is no code has been checked in so far. So not sure when that .NET SDK will be available. So I started creating my own .NET client library. Okay, and then I started going through their version 2 REST API documentation, their Postman collection, their existing Python repository, and found a lot of inconsistencies in terms of naming of those fields, data types. Okay, the field names are very short. I'm not sure why they used such very cryptic names for the fields. Also, the data type doesn't make sense. Like if there is a price field, the data type of that field is a string. I mean, what's the point of having string for price field? Even for date and time, sometime it is used somewhere as a string, DDMM, YY format. Somewhere it is used like in milliseconds, that Unix timestamp format. So there's a lot of inconsistencies in the current document. Also, there are many fields. I don't know what is the purpose of those fields. I mean, that does not make sense. I mean, as a client, if we are going to use this library, this adds a lot of payload to your data transfer, and it may also impact the performance for while deserializing the responses. But anyways, we have to live with that API. So I started creating this library for one of my project, and so during this process I tried to make the APIs, the methods and functions simple to understand. So I followed proper naming. Also, the parameters and data types uh, you know are proper the way it should be. Okay, and also this library is implemented in such a way. So let's say if there are any future additions or any functionalities or any new endpoints added by Alice Blue, that can be easily added to this library without changing or refactoring the majority of the code. Okay, and also this library is using very limited dependency. It has a very limited dependency on third party client library. So the only dependency it is using currently is REST sharp and CSV reader. Okay, and I have targeted this library to .NET Standard 2.0, so that it can be used on .NET Framework 4.6 and also on .NET Core. So you can use in any of your project which is greater than .NET Framework 4.6 and .NET Core 2.0. Okay. Now the usual disclaimer. So this is not a official library from Alice Blue. They have not sponsored this library. So this I created for my own use, and looking at the pain what the other developers were having uh, with regards to calling their API, understanding the document, and a lot of issue they were facing. So I decided to open source this library to the community so that anyone can use this library in their own projects. It is MIT licensed, so that means you can use in your projects, okay, freely, whether it's open source or it's a commercial. Okay, the usual disclaimer. Their current API endpoint is not stable. Also, this library is not heavily tested yet. Okay, so use some precaution. Do not use with large quantity and in live algo deployment. Okay, just try to use with some limited quantity and see how it works. Okay, and once it is tested and stabilized, then you can start using in your production code. Okay, so for any support, any issue with this library, or any feature that you wanted to have in this library, you can reach out to me. Okay, I have my Twitter account at Professor Theta 21. Okay, that you can visit. You can send me a DM message, or you can mention me on Twitter. I also have a YouTube channel where I post regularly about different strategies, and also about the algorithmic trading in journal. Okay, and there is a GitHub account, so the entire source code of this library is available on GitHub. You can go and see how this is implemented, and there are guidelines how to use this library. Okay, so let's get started. So in this video, what I'm going to do basically is create a new project from start, and then I'll include that library, and then I'll show you how to make a call to do like place your order, see the order status, and how can you get the live feeds and all. Okay. Okay, so let me first walk you through the repository on GitHub. So if you visit this URL that I'll be posting in the description, you can find that link in the description of this video. You go to this page, and then you can find out the source code and also the instructions how to use this library. Okay, so to install this library, you have to run this command in Visual Studio. So I'll explain you how to do that. And there is a sample project. There is a file in the sample project that is features demo. There I have implemented the code to actually demonstrate the functionality. This you can always refer. Okay, and getting started guide. Yeah, this is this video that I'm currently recording. It will be available on this link. Okay, then there is an instruction how to initialize this library, and then how to initialize the ticker to get the live feeds, and then subscribe to different symbols, tokens, to get the live feeds for those symbols. Okay, and how to unsubscribe from live feeds, and auto connect, download master contract. So all the details, instructions are there on this page. So anyone wanted to get started, I think this will be helpful. They don't need any further details on this. But let's say if you are starting from scratch and you wanted to have full-fledged project where you can connect to this API, Alice Blue API, and wanted to do some trading and create your own algo program. So for them, I'm creating this video. I'll start creating a project, okay, and I'll show you how to make these calls, how to check the status, and all. Okay, so let me walk you through one by one all the features. So the first thing is API key. So what is an API key? Before you make a call to the REST API, so all the APIs are secured. That means no one can access these API. Okay, and to access those APIs, you need to have one key. Okay, so that key is required to make a successful call. Okay, without that key, all your calls will be rejected. So how to get this API key? So to get this API key, what you need to do basically, you have to go to the Ant web app, the Alice Blue web app, and that link you can find on this GitHub page. Okay, you can see here, right? Let me just open this in a new tab. Okay, so I've already logged in on this page. So when you log in, you will see the apps button. When you click on this, you will see this API key button. Okay, and here you can see your API keys. So let's say if you're logging first time, okay, then you can generate your API key. So if I wanted to regenerate this API key, I can click on this button again and it will give me a new API key. Okay, this API key once generated, you don't need to regenerate this again. Okay, this is a one-time activity unless this API is exposed to someone else. Okay, and there is some security issues, then in that case you can regenerate this API. Otherwise you don't need to do this again. Okay, currently I'm not sure if these API keys are you know are they expired or not. Okay, you can check with Alice Blue team. Probably I will also check with them, but so far I have seen if you generate this API key, you don't need to regenerate this again. Okay, note down this API key, and also there is a user ID, Alice Blue user ID that you can see over here. Okay, you need to also note it down. We need these two information to connect to the REST API. Okay, now once you have these two details, so what we can do, we can start our Visual Studio and we should create a new project. That new project would be the console application. Okay, click on the console application, click on next. Okay, and what we can do, we can give it a name. So let's say Alice Blue client application. Okay, you can save to the specific path and click on next. So currently I am using .NET Core 6.0. Okay, you can use any version like .NET 2.0, 3.1, 5.0. Okay, that's fine. And then finally let me create this project. Okay, now this project is created. In .NET 6.0, basically there is a new format. You won't see the program class and main function. If you're not comfortable with this format, what you can do, basically click on this link, and once this link is open, what you can do, you can copy this entire code and just paste here. Okay, so now we have created the project. So as a next step, what we need to do basically is add the client library. So how to do that? For that you need to go to the GitHub page of the client library. Here you can see the install library section, and you copy this code. Go to Visual Studio again, go to tools, NuGet package manager, and package manager console. And let me just clear whatever is there. So what you can do, just paste this command and press enter. So once you click on enter, it will install this library, okay, in your project. Okay, so once it is installed, you need that namespace. So I have already done that, but let me show you again. You using optionedge.api.ls blue. Okay, now all your API objects and classes will be available to you. So what you need to do next is, let me show you. We have imported, so we now we have to initialize this library. Okay, and to initialize this library, as I said earlier, we need two information. One is API key, one is user ID. Okay, we already have seen how to get those information, and you already know. So let me okay, before that, also show you this section on the GitHub. So anytime if you need any help, you can always refer to this page. You can see how we can initialize this library. Okay, so instead of copying and pasting this code, I'll just start creating writing this code over here. Okay, so let me declare two variable a sorry okay, static variable API key, so that would be string API key, and the next would be static string user ID. Okay, so now that these two variables are defined, so let us get the values for API key and user ID. So I'm on this web app, copy the API keys, paste over here, and the API keys section, why it's a new line, so let me copy that again. Okay, and get the user ID also, just copy it and paste it here. Okay, now we have to define an instance of the client library. Okay, so Alice Blue is equals to new Alice Blue class. Okay, so we need a couple of parameters to pass to this constructor. The minimum we need user ID and API key. Okay, that we will pass. But let me also explain you what are the purpose of rest of the variables or parameters. The first one is base URL. So the REST API has one base URL. Okay, that is provided by the Alice Blue, and it is mentioned in their documentation. So let's say by any chance in future, if they change that base URL, that we can update over here by passing as a parameter. Similarly, there is a WebSocket URL. So if Alice Blue change their WebSocket URL, we can pass a new socket URL from here. Now the next variable is enable logging. So if there are any issues or any error happens while calling the REST API, this client library logs or everything to the console only if enable logging flag is true, and as a default this value is false, so it won't log anything to the console console. So while integrating with your project, initially you wanted to have this enable logging as a true, so that you can see what is happening. Okay, you can disable this in the production, but let's say for initial few days you wanted to see how this integration performs in production, you can keep it enable, and later on you can disable this. Okay, the next parameter is the action function on accessed token generated. So anytime when an authentication happens, it will generate a session ID or access token. Okay, and that access token needs to be generated only once for that day. You can keep it in a file or in a database. So let's say if your application restart, then you can pass that token again generate a token again to this library, so it won't regenerate that token, because for regeneration it has to make a call. In fact, two calls it needs to make, so you can save on those calls. Okay, so in this method you can save that generated token to a file or db. Okay, and to provide that generated token back to the library when it initialize, you can use this function parameter. Okay, now I'll show you how to do that. So let's first pass the API, the user ID, then the API key. Okay, so let me first okay, let me pass the enable logging as true, and on access token generated. Okay, I'll move to the next line. So this will call this lambda function and it will pass the string variable. So I'll save that value to token and define this lambda function. I'll process this later on. Okay, then let me define this method as well. Again, this is a lambda function. The name is cached. Okay, so what I'll do over here, whenever this token is generated, I'll just write this to a file. The name of the file is tokens.txt. Okay, and the content of this file would be just this token. Okay, now this will be this file will be created when whichever folder this application is running on. Okay, and when let's say the application restart, the library will call this function, and then you have to return that generated token back to the library. So how to do that? You will just do file read all text, and from that file tokens.txt. Okay, we'll return whatever is there in this token file, but this file may or may not exist, so you have to do a check file exist tokens.txt. so if this file exists, you read all the contents, else you just return null. Okay, so that's all. So that's all, the everything that we need to initialize this library. Okay, and now to see if this connectivity is proper, we are getting proper response. So what we will do, we will just make a test call to get our account details. So what you will do, list blue get account details, we'll call this function. Okay, and just to make sure we don't exit automatically, what we'll do, we'll just have a console read line here. Okay, and I'll just press I just put a breakpoint over here and then run this application. Okay, and do a next. So now this is executed. So before I show what is there in the account details, let me show you the console application. So these are the logs coming from the client library. The first is getting the access token. Okay, it is okay, and then we are calling the create session endpoint, so there is no error there. And let's see what is there in the account details. So this is the account details that we are getting from the Alice Blue. So our library is working fine. Okay, there is no issue so far. Okay, so let me just stop this application. Okay, and if I go to the bin folder of this application, okay, so I can see this tokens.txt file. If I open this one, you can see the generated token. Okay, this token will be valid for that day. Okay, next day a new token will be generated. Okay, let me close this one. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention is for this authentication to be successful, you have to first log in to the Alice Blue web UI. Okay, if you do not log in, then the authentication will fail. Okay, since I have already logged in, so my authentication is successful. Now if you do not log in, then on the console application you can see the error message. Okay, so that you will know what is the issue only if the logging is enabled. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, so now our library is working, so let me show you the remaining calls or functions that is available with this library. Okay, so we have seen that our library is initialized properly. So as a next step, what we need to do is create a ticker to get the live feeds. Okay, so how to do that? Let me just show you. So let me go to this project. Okay, so what we will do, we'll create a ticker by calling this library and then this create ticker methods. That's all we need to do. Okay, so now our ticker instance is created and we have to set up certain handlers. So let's say whenever a new tick is generating, okay, on the server side it is sending to us, so we need a function where we will capture those ticks. So there is a event that is on tick. Okay, you will create this handler. So this handler is created. Okay, here I'll just show you this tick data that we are receiving. Okay, we'll just write this tick data to the console using JSON convert function. So we'll serialize this to a JSON format. Okay, using JSON.NET serialize object method, and we'll pass this tick data and we'll make it we'll set the formatting indented so that it will look nice. Okay, so as soon as we receive any tick, it will display on the console. Okay, to receive a tick we need to subscribe to the tokens. Okay, so now if you go to the GitHub page, you can find in the live data streaming. Okay, so we just set up the event handler for on tick. You can set the event handler in a similar way for on connect, on close, on error, on no connect, or on reconnect. Okay, so basically anytime you wanted to know whenever the WebSocket is connected, you can use this event handler. Whenever WebSocket is closing, you can use this event handler. I think this is self-explanatory. So now the remaining two is, the last two is basically on no reconnect and on reconnect. So what happens, let's say if the connection to the WebSocket server is lost, this library will try to reconnect. Okay, and whenever it tries to reconnect, this event will fire. Okay, and it will do this retry for some time. Okay, so those number of retries you can also configure. Okay, so there is a method, if you can see here, there is a method on that ticker enable reconnect. So where here we can mention, so let's say if connection is lost, okay, so for the next retry, how much time that we should wait. Okay, so it will wait for 5 seconds. Okay, and then it will try to reconnect. Okay, and then how many tries it can do. So it can retry maximum 20 times. Okay, even after 20 retries, if it is not able to reconnect, then the system will give up. It won't even try to reconnect, and it will raise event that is on no reconnect. Okay, we were not able to connect. Then we can take appropriate action. Okay, we can display on the UI, right, or send a notification. So now going back to this code, so what we need to know whenever our socket is connected successfully. So on connect, we have to just create this event handler. So whenever the socket is connected, we wanted to subscribe to the live feed for specific tokens. Okay, so in this method what we can do, okay, now we cannot access the ticker instance because it is created in the main method. It won't be available here. So what we can do, we can move this variable outside main method and make it static ticker. Okay, and so like this. Now we can access this ticker from here. So ticker has a one method, subscribe, where we can mention the tokens that we wanted to subscribe for. So we have to mention the mode. So the mode one is quote. First mode is quote, and the next one is full, tick mode full. So in the full mode, we receive the depth information of that tick. Okay, best by 1, best by 2, best by 3, etc. But in the quote mode, we don't receive the depth information. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll subscribe to the full mode. Okay, and then we can specify the tokens. Okay, now within the single call, you can specify tokens for multiple exchanges, or you can specify the exchange and pass the tokens for that specific exchange only. So what I'll do, I'll just first pass the exchange, feature in options, mode is full, and then tokens are integer values. Okay, so I'll just copy the tokens from here. Okay, sticker subscribe. Okay, for NSC. So these are the, I think this is NSC spot and this is Bank Nifty spot value from the NSC exchange. I'll use the same one. So the first one, the exchange is NSC basically. NSC. This is the first token. This is the next token. Okay, so I've subscribed to the ticker, and on whenever I receive a tick, I just push display this to the console. So let me just run this application and let's see. Okay, now you can see nothing is displaying here, no information. What could be the reason? Okay, now if you see this documentation, okay, this line, we forgot to add this line. Okay, ticker connect. So we have to connect this ticker, make a connection to the web socket. Okay, so ticker dot connect. Now if I run this application, so we have received the ticks. Okay, and the tick format is dk means depth acknowledgement. So right now the market is closed, we are not receiving the live feed, but basically this is the acknowledgement. So anytime you subscribe, you receive acknowledgement, so that it will receive the last traded price and the last traded details. So you can see it has token number, the feed time, the last traded price. So 40415, basically this is Bank Nifty spot token. Okay, and you can see the total open interest and all these data. Okay, and here we can see 7925. So this is the Nifty spot tick. So again, this is a depth acknowledgement. Okay, now if I do a quote, if I change full mode to quote, let's see what we are going to receive. Okay, now you can see this is tick acknowledgement. So in this tick acknowledgement, we don't receive the depth like best by 1, best by 2, best by 3. So if you see, all these values are 0. Okay, there is no information. Okay, so this is how we subscribe to ticks. Okay, now if we want to unsubscribe, what we can do basically is ticker dot unsubscribe. Okay, the same way as we have done for the subscription. Okay, now to unsubscribe, we don't need to pass the tick mode, because whatever token is subscribed it will be just unsubscribed. You won't receive ticks again. Okay, so I'll just need to pass first exchange, the constants dot exchange, let's say NSC, and then the tokens, okay, in the int format. So I'll pass 26,000. Okay, that's it. So it is a void method, it won't return anything, it will just unsubscribe, okay, from that feed. Okay, so I'll not execute this one, I'll just wanted to show you. So whenever you subscribe to any tokens, this library keep a track of those subscribed tokens. So let's say if we lost the connection, for example with some network issue, and if the connection reestablished, the system will automatically resubscribe to those tokens those were earlier subscribed. So you don't need to do anything for that. Okay, the system will keep a track on. Okay, so now I have shown you how to create a ticker, how to subscribe to live feeds, how to unsubscribe live feeds, master contracts. Okay, so so basically during the day when you initialize in the morning, you have to download the master contracts. So the master contract basically has all the instrument and the instrument token and its detail available for that day. Okay, so suppose if you are trading in options, okay, and if you download the future in options master contract, it will have the details of all the strikes available for trading during the day. Okay, so so the very first activity that you have to do every day is basically download the master contract and then maintain that master contract locally. So let's say wherever a token is needed, okay, and then you can search that token through the symbol. Or let's say if you have a symbol and wanted to find out that token, you can search that token through the symbol or through the token. So currently this library does not do that kind of a search, because I wanted to keep this library lightweight. Okay, all this functionality you can implement at your application level. Okay, I'm planning to create one extension wrapper. There I'll have this functionality within that wrapper library, so you don't have to do at your own end. I explained you how to create a ticker, so I commented out this code. Now to download the master contract, what I have to do is basically create okay, to download the master contract, what we have to do basically, we have to call this method save master contracts, and we have to specify the exchange for which we wanted to download the master contract. So let's say for NFO. Okay, and then you have to specify the file path where you want to save this master contract. Okay, so let's see, I wanted to save this file to my wherever this application is running. Okay, so I'll say contracts dot csv. Okay, this will be the file. It will be a csv file, and I wanted to just have the exchange to that file name as well, constant dot nfo. Okay, and let me put a breakpoint. if I execute this command, it will take some time. See, now it is executed successfully because there is no error. If I go to this bin folder, okay, here you can see this contracts nfo.csv, okay, somewhere around 7 MB. If I double click on this, you can see the contract details. Okay, it will have exchange segment, symbol, token, instrument type, option type, strike price, okay, instrument name, and instrument symbol, okay, expiry date, lot size, etc. So a lot of detail that you need to have. No? Okay, so this is how we download the master contract. So there are other way where instead of downloading, you wanted to have a list, in memory list. Okay, so that you can do a search within your application. For that, we have one method. Okay, so let me show you. So I'll say I'll create this variable contracts Alice Blue get master contract. So when I call this get master contract, it will return me a list. Okay, and I have to pass exchange. For example, I wanted to get all NSC contracts. Okay, now this is a sync method. Okay, so what I have to do, basically I have to get the result of this async call. So I have to use dot result. Okay, let me put a breakpoint here, and when I run this, you can see the contracts are downloaded. It's very quick, 4,000 contracts, and now you can see like NSC cash market. Okay, this is for GOI T-bill. Let me see some other GOI table. Okay, so there are a lot of contracts. Okay, now you can do a search on this list. You can maintain this in memory and do all kind of filtering, searching, whatever you want to do. Okay, so we have seen how to download the master contracts. The next is account details that I've already shown you. Okay, and the next is funds. So let's say we want to check how much funds we have available, how much have been used and all. So we can use this method. So let me show you how to do that. So just comment out this code. Okay, and we'll create a new variable, funds dot get funds. Okay, so it does not accept any parameter. Let me put a breakpoint and run this application. So when you run this, you will see it returns this one, and you can see all the ad hoc margin available, brokerage present, okay, cash margin available. So now you can see the cash margin available and the category. So whatever the product category that you are subscribed to, it will show here. So ABPS freedom plan that I have already subscribed. Okay, and the next is okay, so there are other all category section. It does not have any value. I'm not sure why. Okay, this is a commodity section basically. So these are the two different segment that is enabled for my account. Okay, so whatever segment is enabled, it will return that list. Okay, so this is about the funds, and next is historical data. Okay, so to get the historical data, let me show you how to do that. So I'll just create this variable history Alice Blue get historical data. So these are the couple of parameter. One is history data params parameter that we can directly pass. Okay, and the other one is we can pass these values separately. Okay, so that we can get the history for a specific instrument, token and exchange. So let me just get the instrument history for specific contracts. Let's say Nifty spot. I wanted to get the history, so I'll select Nifty instrument token. Okay, so the instrument token, we have already used Nifty here. 26,000 is the instrument token for Nifty spot that we are passing here, and then date time from. So let's say I want to get this history from Thursday of 1st September. So what I'll do, I'll just convert this to date time, 1st September 2022 from 9:30 a.m. okay, and this should be colon. Okay, and 2. So again I'll say date time parse. Okay, and today is 9th September, so 9 September 22 and 3:30 p.m. okay, and resolution. So currently only 2 resolutions available as per their API documentation. So we will get the 1 minute resolution data. Okay, we'll pass resolution as 1 minute and done. Sorry, we have to add this bracket, close this bracket. Okay, and now if we run this code, let's see what we will get. Okay, so we have got some data history. Okay, and then result is null, no data available. Okay, why so? I am not sure. 1st September 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. 1 minute resolution, no data available. Okay, so let me just say resolution 1 day. Just try with 1 day. Please select the valid resolution. I don't know. See, these are the issues. Sometime it works, sometime it doesn't. Earlier it used to work. I'll pass the hard-coded value, just say 1. No data available. Okay, let me choose a different token. So I've just downloaded this master contract for NFO. Let's say if I wanted to see for 41 this bank nifty, this token, okay, 3739. So I'll just pass this token and select exchange as NFO. Okay, and I'll execute this one. Okay, so looks like we got the data. I'm not sure whether that token was valid or not. I mean, really surprised. So we got this candle data. So you can see this is for 9 September 1:21 p.m. Okay, so this is a 1 minute resolution data. We can convert this 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever resolution, we can do that. There are many libraries available. Okay, let me try to use the constant instead of hard coding this value. So it's always better you use the constants, because let's say if the values for these parameters are changed, so you don't need to change your code. Okay, constant 1 minute. If I run this again, okay, it's working fine. Alright, so this is how to get the history. Holdings. Okay, so this is simple. Just the call to holdings. So let's say holdings list blue get holdings. Okay, if I put a comments breakpoint, execute this one, so you can see. So I do not have any holdings as of now in my account, so it's saying no data, so that is fine. Okay, and what is next? Next is open interest. Okay, if you want to get the open interest for a specific token, how to do that? So let's see. OI blue get open interest. Okay, so there are a couple of overloads. The first is exchange and the tokens that we need to pass. So let's say constant dot nfo and new int and tokens that we want it to get the open interest for. So let's choose this token for Bank Nifty 41,000 strike. Okay, and when I run this, let's see what we get. Okay, so we got something, and this is the open interest for 41,000 strike price, and yeah, and there are many details. So open interest is 625. Okay, and you can see the LTP, low price, high price, and the other details. Okay, this is for open interest. Okay, and the next one is script code. Okay, we wanted to get the details for any script, we can use this method. So I'm just comment out this code where script detail is equals to list blue get script code. So again we have to specify the exchange, that would be NFO, and the same token, this one. Okay, so my god, let me just add this one. So let's see what we got. So this is the script detail for the token that we just selected, and there are the values like multiplier, open price, percentage change, previous close, and this is script is TVS motor. Actually the strike price is 1030. Okay, and VWAP average price. So there are many details about this script. Okay, so this is about it. What's next? Okay, order book. Okay, before I show you the order book and trade book, let me show you how to place the order. Okay, regular order has many methods and many ways you can execute your order, and I'll show a couple of them. Okay, you can explore the library further on your own and then you can find out. Okay, so so there are three types of order in the system as of now. One is the regular order, like if you want to just execute like MIS order, intraday order, or positional order, you can do that by placing limit order or market price order. Okay, the other one is the cover order. Okay, that you can also execute, and the last one is bracket order. Okay, so I'll just show you the placing the regular order. Rest of placing the rest of the order, you can find out the code on the GitHub. So just let me quickly show you where you can find. Okay, so into script code place order. Okay, so this is how you place cover order and how to place bracket order. Okay, so let me just show you how to place regular order. So where order result, so when you place an order you should get the order number or the status whether this call was successful or not. So we'll store that result in this variable order result, and we'll now call the place order. Okay, so it has somewhere around 6 overloads. So there are many ways you can pass the order. First is you can pass the bracket order parameters, so you can execute bracket order, or you can pass the cover order parameter so that you can execute cover orders. And now this is the regular order. Okay, so here, so you can see this is an array. So let's say if you want to pass a basket order, multiple order in one go, you can specify all these multiple orders in the single call, or if you want to just execute a single order, so you have to just call single regular order parameter. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just execute a simple single order. So I'll pass regular place regular order parameters. Okay, and then specify a couple of values. So the first one would be the exchange. Okay, so let's say if I want to just open that sheet again. So for this TVS motor 1030, let's say I just wanted to buy this option for this strike price. So I'll choose this token. The exchange is NFO. So exchange is NFO. Next is instrument token. Instrument token is this value. The next is product code. So if you can see constant, there are a couple of product code. BO, bracket order, cash and carry, positional, and for cash market, and cover order, MIS and NRML. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll choose MIS, intraday order. Okay, and price type. So what is price type? If you see, the price type is market order, SL limit order, or SL market and limit. So I'll just say market order. Okay, number of quantity. So you have to see what is the lot size. Based on that, you have to specify this lot. 1400. This is the minimum quantity that you have to specify. Okay, and trading symbol. I'm not sure why the LS Blue require this trading symbol. Instrument token should be enough, but as of now it requires trading symbol, so we have to pass the trading symbol also. Okay, so this is the trading symbol for this token 237. Okay, so I'm passing this trading symbol, and transaction type. So what we have to do, we have to purchase this option. So the transaction type would be buy, and price is market, so we don't have to specify the price. Retention is will automatically set. Okay, complexity will be regular, and this will be automatically set. Okay, disclose quantity, if you want to specify, we can specify. Order tag, so basically we assign some unique value to this order, my order. So when we get the order history or the order book, we can see this tag next to our order, so we can search filter by this order tag. Okay, so I think these are the minimum parameters that is needed to execute the regular order. So I'll just execute this one, run this and see what happens. Okay, now if I see the order result, it was okay and I got this order number in this variable. So this is the order number. It is executed on the exchange. Let's see if I go to the web app and order. Okay, here you can see executed and the status is auto square of block. Market is closed, so it was not executed successfully. But you can see the details, right? TVS Motor 1030 put option. Okay, for 29th September, expiry quantity is 1400. Okay, so let's note down this order number because we will need this one. So I'm saving this somewhere, notepad plus plus. Okay, so let's say if I wanted to modify this order. Okay, imagine I put a limit order. Okay, and this order is still pending, it's not executed, it is open, and I want to modify certain parameters. Okay, so we have a method modify order. Okay, so let me call this method and let's see what happens. Modify result ls blue modify order, and we have to pass modify order parameters. Okay, so the first thing we have to pass is order number. So we already have this result, we are passing this order number. The next one is trading symbol. Again, I'm not sure why all these details are needed for this API. Order number should be enough. And exchange NFO product code. Okay, constant start product code is MIS. And if I want to change the quantity to, let's say, 2800, double the quantity. Okay, and price type, this market, let's so you can modify any open or pending orders. So since this is already executed, we cannot modify that one. Let's see, where are we? Regular orders. Okay, we have seen cover orders, bracket orders, modify order, cancel order. Okay, troubleshooting. Okay, we'll cover later on. Let me show you the remaining functionalities. Okay, order book. Okay, so let's say we have executed a couple of orders and we wanted to see that order book, how many orders are executed. So order book, and we call this method get order book. Basically get order book. Okay, no need to pass any parameter. Okay, and if I execute this command, and let's see what we have got. Okay, we got this order book and there was one order that we executed but it got rejected. Okay, and you can see that instrument token and that this order. Okay, and the other details about this order. Okay, and this is the order number. So this is the order book. If you wanted to see the trade book, so we can do that through the get trade book method. So if I execute this trade book method, let's see what we got. So it is null. The reason is that because there is no trade that has happened today, because market is closed, so there is no entry in that book, so it's giving me a null. Okay, and if you go this to the console log, you can see the error. Now the status is okay because we are getting proper status, but the library is not able to pass the return value because nothing was written. Okay, but that is okay. Okay, so when you get null, you can assume there is no trade that has happened. So what's next is trade book that we have covered, order history. Okay, so if you wanted to see the history of the specific order, you can use this command. So this is useful in case of you execute an order and you wanted to see the status, whether it was completed or it was rejected. So this method will be helpful. Get order history. So the only parameter we need is the order number. So we have already saved this number that we executed earlier. We will pass this parameter. Okay, now this is requires in string format, and let's comment out this code. If I execute this command, so if we got this history, right? So the first one is this one, and what's the status? Put order request received. So this order was received on the exchange side. Then the next status was validation pending. Okay, so exchange is validating this order, and then finally it got rejected from their RMS system. Okay, so this is the how to get the order history. Now what's next? Day or netwise position book. So let's say if our order is got executed, we have a couple of positions open or closed, and we wanted to see the net or day wise position, so we can use these commands. Okay, so let's see how to use them. Where position book. Okay, if I do get day wise position, and if I execute this command, okay, this is null because we don't have any open positions, so that's why it return null value. Okay, and similarly for netwise also it will be null because we don't have any open positions. See, okay, so when you run this in live market, and if you have any position, it will give you the list of positions and their values, like what is the M2M value, realized profit, unrealized profit, and all. Okay, so I think we have covered pretty much everything. Okay, and let's see what it's remaining. Troubleshooting. Okay, so as I already said, to troubleshoot any issues, the very first thing that you have to do is enable logging true. This flag you have to set true, so all the errors will be logged to the console application and you can see what is happening. Okay, this is very important. If you don't log this if you don't set this flag, and if you execute all these commands, if any errors are happening, you won't be able to see that. Okay, so this is the troubleshooting you can do. Okay, next is extending the library. Okay, this topic I'll cover video because okay, so that's all. So I think this guide will be helpful for you to get started using this library for your own project. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, for any issues or any feature request, you can always reach out to me. These are the details on Twitter. Okay, I'm having account with this ID. You can DM me in your issues or feature request. You can visit my YouTube channel where I regularly post videos on new strategies and algo trading. Okay, and if you want to see the source code for this library, you can go to GitHub. Okay,